Hello, everybody, and welcome to Adobe Live. We'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land in which we are creating and streaming today and pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. My name is Flynn, and I'm delighted to be here. We are live, so we have some interactive stuff happening today. So if you are there in chat, we'd love to have you participate. We've got some cool, fun stuff to do because we're going to be hanging out with craft-based designer from Melbourne, Kitiya Palaskas. Kit, welcome back.
Hi, Flynn. Hi again. I've got my coffee. I'm ready to go.
Coffee this time. So you had a tea. I think it was a tea last time. So today it needed a coffee.
I'm just so exhausted from all the fun we had yesterday.
Perfect answer. I love that. That is great. We did have a great time yesterday. So we did have a stream. Don't worry. You don't have to have seen that one to hang out in this one. But I think it's always great to do a bit of a recap because we did have a lot of fun yesterday. And I think people watching this one would be interested in that one. So you want to give us a bit of a recap to start off with?
Absolutely. So because it was Valentine's Day in the Southern Hemisphere, at least yesterday. Also, if you're tuning in from the Northern Hemisphere, happy Valentine's Day. We made this animated digital Valentine's card.
Super cool.
That you can send to your boo, or as we were saying, you could change the text and make it a breakup card if you wanted to.
I wanted to see one. I haven't seen one yet.
No one sent us their breakup cards yet, but we used a whole bunch of awesome and powerful animation tools in Adobe Express to create this. And I also kind of ran through a little bit about how I designed it in Fresco and Photoshop. So make sure you check out the recording of yesterday's session if you want to catch up on that one.
Yeah, we'll share a link in chat so you can come and check it out. And if you're on YouTube, it's just in that same playlist. It's there somewhere. There's heaps of stuff on YouTube, but you'll find it. Well, that's great. Well, without further ado, should we jump into kind of the topic for today? And I'll leave it to you.
Okay, well, I'm really excited. I thought to balance out the digital animated yesterday's project, we would do something in Adobe Express today that is printable, so you can actually hold it in your hands after you're done designing it.
Wow.
But because I love to mix analog and digital together in my work all the time, we're going to use the amazing AI tools in Adobe Express to help us design this card. So here's an example of what we're going to be making today. Cool. It's double-sided. So this is the first page, and then this is the second page. So I thought you could write a love note on it.
Lovely.
Or a breakup note if we're still going down that path. It is a little bit goth, this one. So maybe this
jerk.
Yeah, maybe this one's the breakup one. The other one was the love one.
Got it.
Sure. But what I thought we would do first is have a bit of an explore of the AI tools in Express for anyone that is new to it or hasn't tried them for themselves yet. And maybe we will have an interactive little warm-up together and try to create a template using AI. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds great. I haven't used all of these features either. So I think the text to template I haven't touched.
Yes. Great. We're going to be doing that. So
I'm ready to roll. Yeah.
If you're in the chat right now, have a think about what you might want a prompt to be for a template we can create while I give you a little overview, and feel free to pop it in the chat if you like, so that we can try it out. So, okay, there's a few cool tools that you can use here in Express. So we've got text to image. So this is it should be pretty familiar to any of you that have tried AI things before. You can type in your prompt and generate an image, and then you can adjust the image and adjust the look of it using the image editing tools in Adobe Express. So that's really fun. We've got Gen Fill, of course. As I said before the stream, all the gens.
Yeah.
The gens are here. So we've got Gen Fill, which, as we know, is a really great way to extend backgrounds, delete things, remove things, change things around, add new little images into our overall art. So that's really cool. We've got text to template. This one's really cool. I love this because you can actually generate. So as you know, like Adobe Express has all these different templates available for you to remix and work from. But if you want to create something completely new from scratch with the help of AI, you can use the text to template tool. So we're going to play with that in a bit.
Nice.
And then we also have text effects I don't know why it's hiding on the edge of my screen there, but basically you can apply AI generated effects to any kind of text that you type into your Adobe Express Design projects. And there's lots of different features, and we're going to be using that a little bit later. And I think that one's a really fun one too. I haven't used that one as much as the others, and I'm really excited to delve deeper into it as I learn more about AI and more about how to do really good prompts, because I think
Yes.
that's the key. That's the key,
Well,
right?
I mean, a year ago it didn't exist, right? Like, there's no one that has 5 years experience with prompting. Like, it's something I really like about like being around this sort of emerging tech space, like all this AI stuff, is if you just keep on top of it a little bit, we can all kind of ride the wave together. But you don't want to kind of look back in 5 years and think, oh, I never really looked into how to do that.
I know. That's how I feel about crypto. I didn't look into it, and now I'm like, should I have? All right, so let's warm up. I need to get my creative juices flowing. Let's create a template with text to template. Now, I don't know, Flynn, maybe you could spit out some things you think would be good for the brief, or if anyone's written anything, we can use their ideas.
So let us know in chat, or you're going to get my terrible things. For some reason, I've got Bauhaus in my head.
Okay, I want your terrible things.
Let's do crazy.
No, okay. So is that your style? So like Bauhaus?
Yeah. And then you have to spell it live. Oh, you did spell it correctly. I think that was great.
I used to be goth, and there's this band called Bauhaus that I loved, so that's how I know how to spell it.
Well done. Yeah, I always spelled incorrectly. That's why I'm like, wow, impressed.
Bauhaus. What do we want this to be? Like Bauhaus poster?
Poster, yeah.
With
maybe color palette of some kind.
Yeah, with maroon
and watermelon.
Okay, watermelon and grey tones. Architectural.
Mm-hmm. Got a 90s vibes in chat.
With a 90s vibe. Advertising, a dance party.
Amazing.
Let's see.
Let's see what we get.
It's fun. All right. I like how it tells us what it's doing.
Thanks, Emma and Joe, for the prompts in there.
Yes, thank you.
If you throw one in and we don't get to it, like maybe we'll like see if we can do some more or something like at the end, or we'll see how we go. It's not wasted.
Oh, okay. Right. Here we go.
That's like the Bauhaus building. That's so funny.
We did say architectural. Oh, okay. Let's generate some more results and see what comes up.
Bauhaus Beats. Is that the band?
I think this is the dance party. This is like this is the type of music we're going to be listening to.
Amazing.
I love how it says here, embrace the 90s architectural vibes, retro grooves. Oh, I quite like that one.
That's happening.
Okay, I'm going to click on this.
Nice.
So when we open it up, it all of a sudden just becomes a template that we can remix and customize to be exactly what we want. So we can tweak elements of it to truly make it our own. So while it's loading, what I think we should maybe we can focus on the text and sort of see if we can make it a little bit more the colors that we were hoping for. Like I didn't see any, well, there's a bit of maroon in there, but okay. So this is where we're at. So as you can see, we have, it's put it as the page background. So if you say detach background, it'll just, you can move it around and it can be an image, but that's the background. So the things that we can customize here are things like, you know, these little elements, the text, and the font and that kind of thing. So it kind of, I think it's really cool because like it could have taken me like an hour or so to come up with this by myself and just find the right kind of image for the background that really like fits what I wanted it to look like, and then kind of work out all the typography around that. So I love that we just typed in our prompt and then it just came up. I think that's really cool.
It's so great, just like not starting from a blank page as well, like
yes.
Tweaking already.
Do you feel that it's really intimidating, even if you're doing like sketches or something in a sketchbook, to start from a blank page? Sometimes you're just like, oh my God.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to write. It's hard to sketch. It's hard to design. So much better.
Do you want to hear a really crazy fact about this font?
I'm ready.
Is that this was my first ever brand font.
Oh, really? What is it?
Yes.
Bebas New.
Yes. Like 13, 14 years ago when I started my business.
Nice.
And now it's just brought it up. It's like it knew that I was here.
It knew. It N-E-U-E knew.
Oh my God. Okay. Wow. All right. So anyway, that was a little warm up. I feel like we got a good result with that.
That was
I
great.
could play with that for ages, but let's move into our main project. What do you say?
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. So just to remind you, I'm going to try with my recipe that I've written down here to recreate this amazing thing that I'm really happy with that I made last night. So let's try and replicate it. And we're going to use all the AI tools to do so.
Awesome.
So we'll hop back into our main part of Adobe Express, the dashboard. And we are going to create, we're going to use the text to image tool to just get our sort of base for this card, and then we're going to build on that. So
cool.
I have a prompt that I came up with. So I'm going to type it in just for the sake of moving this along.
Sure.
A black, so I want sort of like a grainy, I'm looking for like a grainy sort of photocopy collage-y kind of background. So a black rectangular grainy piece of paper with a few creases, white speckles, and wear and tear. Generate. Let's see what it gives us. Hopefully it gives us the same options.
We never get exactly the same. We generally don't get exactly the same thing, right?
No, and I kind of love that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. Here we go. Here's some options. So I'm going to just see what else is available. But as you can see, this is pretty on the money, actually. I want something grainy. I want this to look handmade. Oh, that one's kind of cool.
That's pretty sweet. I like that one.
Yeah, I like that one. Maybe
we'll use crease.
Yeah, I like that. I'm just going to, because I can't help myself. I just need to click load more just to see what else is available.
It's like fonts, like when there's just so many fonts now that you can just scroll fonts for hours.
I know. Oh, that's interesting. That's like a bit like recycled paper.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we should go with this one. This is cool.
Sweet.
All right, so this is going to become our background. Now, the first thing I want to do is just, I'd like to just make it a little darker and more moody. So once you've got your image, you can come down here to the effects and editing panel, and you can make some adjustments. So there's a lot of your favorites. All your favorites are here. I'm going to bump up the contrast.
Back together. Yeah, all your favorites.
All your favorites. My favorite is saturation because I like to make things really bright and like as vivid as possible.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm just going to bump up the contrast a bit for that because I think that it would look nice with the colored flowers on top of it. Okay, so then I'm going to resize this because I actually want to print this eventually as an A5. So in order to do that, we just click resize, and I'm just going to choose the flyer option because I find that that is closest. You can do your custom, you can make your custom ones too, but I just thought for the ease of doing this fast, we'll click flyer. Nice. Okay, so now I like this, but I don't really like how the edges are really sharp and clean, and I want to make them like a little bit more rustic. So I'm actually going to use generative fill just to like dirty up the edges a little bit. Nice. So
I don't think I've used generative fill within Express yet.
Okay, so basically all you do is you adjust the brush size to what you want it to be, and you just swipe it over like the area that you want to change. So, and you can see it comes up with a little blue light opacity outline so you can see what you're doing. And I'm just going to type in wear and tear and see what happens.
Nice. And I assume like other places you could leave it blank and just kind of roll the dice and see what happens as well.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
Could do that. I want to see what happens when wear and tear. Oh, yep. Okay, there we go.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I like that. And there's that option too, which is interesting. That one's a bit more subtle, so maybe we'll go with that. I think that's a bit too wear and teary.
Right.
So then I'm going to do the same on this edge as well, but this time I'm going to type in torn edge. See what happens. Because I like the idea that it's sort of like a page ripped out of an old notebook or something.
Yep. That's cool. And do you have like the vision of like what you're planning to create before kind of sitting down, or do you kind of discover as you're going through the process?
For this project, yes, I knew that I wanted it to look like a rustic old love note that's found in a drawer or something like that.
Yeah, that was kind of your brief to yourself. You're like, this is what I want.
Yeah.
This is where I want to get.
And I do actually think that that helps when you're creating, like, to actually help develop the prompt, because if you kind of like just come at it with nothing, it's harder to define what it is that you want. You know, you become your own worst ever client. The ones that don't know what they want, but they know what they don't want.
Right.
Okay, so this one I want to say maybe like torn edge with curled, I don't know, torn curled edge maybe. I want like it to look like the...
Yeah, that makes sense.
Torn curled edge. Let's see.
Beautiful.
But sometimes it's fun to just come in here and just type things in and see what happens. So you can actually learn like what prompts do what.
Yeah, totally.
Oops. That's kind of interesting, but I think I want something a little bit more curled. So let's see what it can give us.
Generate again. We were talking about blank pages before. Excuse me. One job, Flynn, talk. Emma has said, hate blank pages. Warm-up design sketches and scribbles are so important. And Johanna has said, yes, love splashing colours about on my page to mess it up even before I start. It helps me take it and myself less seriously.
Oh, yeah, that's so true. And I think it is good to just do a little quick warm-up, or even just, like if you're sketching or something, put a wash down instead of just blank white, you know, or maybe add some texture first or something like that. Okay, so I love this. I think I'm going to leave it as is, because I think the thing with this generative fill is that you could just keep going and going.
Right.
We're not going to do that today. I also just really quickly wanted to show you that initial brief that I typed in to get this. As I was working on it before this live, I tried a couple of other sort of similar things, trying to get the same look, and I got these things instead, and they weren't what I wanted. So I typed in 90s black and white classic composition book cover, covered in kitsch, colourful stickers, scribbles, drawings of hearts, diamantes, and then I said something else, but it's got cut off. I was really, really prescriptive, and I didn't get anything that I wanted, but I got these really, really interesting and cool results.
Oh, wow.
And so I thought it was just worth showing you. I ended up saving them because I really liked them and I want to use them for something in the future.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's happy accidents. I guess like when you experiment with any kind of creative art process and something magical comes out of something you didn't expect. So I think it's always worth saving them just in case you can use them for future projects.
Definitely. And I love that when you save it, if you save it in your cloud or wherever you save it, the file name is the description as well. Because I've done that before, and I have a whole Dropbox full of just desktop backgrounds that I've made.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, they're really fun because then I can just change it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that one's really cool. And then every now and then I look at the prompt and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll just generate a different style because I'm a bit sick of this one now.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
Yeah, it's great. So let's go in and add some text. So I've just gone into the text thing, the text section, and put add your text. We're going to, because we're keeping with the Valentine's Day theme, we're going to make this say, true love forever. So gushy. I'm just going to adjust it a little bit. And I think I want to use the same font that I used yesterday just to keep things, I don't know, on theme. And because I only used it yesterday, it's come up here in my recents. Otherwise, I would have to wade through thousands and thousands and thousands of fonts.
I like that feature because often I'll, pick something up a week later, but it'll still count as recent. And I'm like, oh, thank you very much for saving me from having to go find that file, find the font, find how I stylized it and the color. It just kind of pops back up.
Yes, I agree. So for the sake of just making it visible, I've made it this color, but I actually want to play around now with some text effects, some generative AI text effects. So down at the bottom of the text editing panel is the text effects section. You can click on it and there's a whole bunch of different things available to you just for fun. Let's just click a few. So gold drip, let's see what that looks like with our font. Now, as I was saying before, I haven't really had that. Oh, that's pretty cool. If we were going glam, that would be absolutely perfect. This, but we're not. But yeah, I haven't really played around too much with this, so I'm new to it as well, and I'm finding it really fun. But it's also really interesting if you click on these sample ones, it tells you what the prompt was to get those, so you can kind of learn even more about what makes a good prompt.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Because I would never have thought to write any of those things to get that. So that's cool.
Like gooey slime, like to get that like dripping metallic thing. It's like, okay, I understand what gooey slime is. Good to know.
I'm going to keep like mine quite simple, and I'm just going to write cross stitch because I just, what I'm really aiming for here is texture. I don't necessarily want my text to look like anything in particular, but I do want just it to just add like it's an old maybe letterpress or old printed piece of paper. So it's come up with some interesting texture, but it's colorful and I don't want color. So I might add to this and type in white cross stitch and see if it brings up something that's a little more monotone to match, rather than fabulously colored, which I can't believe I've said that I don't want it to be colorful, but who am I?
Clip it. That's the Instagram clip.
These are some great results. I think this looks like it was perhaps like printed on a letterpress or something, or maybe it's an old newspaper page or something, which I love. So there's different things that we can choose from. Some of them are like more, I guess, flat looking, like this one here. I quite liked, like that's quite cool. I quite liked this one that had a bit of dimension, as if it was maybe embossed or embroidered onto the piece of paper. So we might keep this one. What do you think?
Yeah, I like that one.
Okay, cool. So that's just a little overview about how the text effects work. I will also say you can kind of customize it a little bit. So if you want the effect to like lock in really tight to the edges of your typeface, you choose type. Or if you want it to be a little bit more like murky and loose, choose this one. But I just went for medium. There's also different styles that you can experiment with as well. I wanted to go for realistic, but I mean, by all means, give these a go and see what they do. So there's a lot of different options there. The thing I love about this is like you can just get in here and play around for ages.
Yeah.
It's a great, actually, if you want to procrastinate, instead of scrolling social media, you should just come in Adobe Express and like just play around in this text section.
That's great.
Okay, so let's add some graphics to our Valentine's Day card. I'm actually going to pull in some of the motifs that I used in yesterday's project. So I have uploaded them into one of my Creative Cloud libraries. I use Creative Cloud libraries all the time. This one I use all the time. This is like my collection of collageable elements that I've actually cut from paper and scanned in.
Right. Awesome.
Flowers, if you did watch yesterday's, you'll recognize them from yesterday. But these are actually, as much as they look a little bit like paper, these are actually made in fresco. So that's just, to keep you on your toes.
Right. Keep you guessing.
Yeah, keep you guessing. So I ended up like taking them out of their original composition and making them their own like PNG files. Nice. So let's pop in some of these. And then just with as with everything that you can do with any images, you can adjust things, you can give them effects, so make them all different tones. I might just put the opacity down just a little bit because that's quite like bright and jarring in relation to the rest of my worn, weathered artwork. So I'm just going to bring the opacity down a little bit. I'll show you a little bit about the background remove tool in a minute, but it's a really, really handy, fast tool that's available in Express, obviously, and also Photoshop. The days of deep etching are over, Flynn.
I know, but so many weekends deep etching people's faces out.
Oh, so many months just erasing ex-boyfriends from my MySpace photo.
My biggest one was like I was always working in events and things like that. So it's just like deep etching profile pictures, and people would have like designers, like, not unlike yourself, will have amazing, interesting hair, and they'll have a photo and they'll be against some colorful background. I'm like, I need to cut this hair out. How am I going to do this?
God, that actually hair. Yeah. As someone who is ethnic, who has curly hair that's always really fly away and kind of has a mind of its own.
Right.
having to deep etch myself and my hair out of things or around things was such a bane of my existence. So I'm really happy that I can just put background remove on now and it just does it for me.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that for me and for you.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to add a few more like little fun bits and pieces. Now, if you want to flip something, I don't know if I've showed you this before, but there are these great buttons here. You just do that.
Just click it and it's flipped.
Oh,
beautiful.
It's so one of my favorite things about Express is that there's so many just like one click things. It just makes life so much easier for people like me that are time poor but want to still create like beautiful designs, you know?
Yeah.
So let's put these. I'm just going to crop that in. I was lazy when I saved these as PNGs and didn't crop them, so you can just do it in here. It's because I knew that I could crop them in here. That's exactly why I did it.
You just wanted to demonstrate the feature on the
Exactly.
live.
That's exactly why.
You're genius.
It's not because I'm a lazy designer or anything like that. But I mean, look, who's got the time?
Just got to demo every step. So it's
who's got the time?
Valuable.
All right. Sorry, guys. I am almost done with this. I'm just getting really carried away. I love that. Oh, it's so cute. I'm really like, not to like just toot my own horn, but I'm really happy with the way these flowers look.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Especially just because I'm, you know, admittedly, I am like newish to fresco.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed the process of drawing in there. I thought it was just really fun and I loved exploring all the brushes and it's definitely my new favorite thing to try.
That's cool. I don't think we spoke about, because there's 3 different types of kind of ways you can draw. Like there's vector, watercolor,
there's
pixel
brush, vector brush, and what's the other one?
Watercolor.
Oh, and watercolor. Yes, I use pixel brushes for these.
That was my question.
They had the most options within fresco to choose from, so I went with those.
Nice.
Okay, so here we go. There's a little bit of color happening now. I like this, but I want to actually embellish it with a little bit of something shiny just to sort of, I don't know, elevate it a little bit more. So I am actually going to go back to text to image. What do I need to do? Text to image. So if you want to access it from within your dashboard, you go to media, text to image, and let's just say square. So now I am going to, I want some kind of like, as if we had a whole bunch of fun gold star stickers to put all over our collaged love letter. So the prompt that I ended up writing was 12 pointed gold star sticker worn at the edges. And because I wanted it to be like not just a 5-point star, I wanted it to be like multiple. And I'm going to choose photo because I want it to look as realistic as possible, but there's all these other options here that you can choose to experiment with different themes, effects, materials, and that kind of thing. But let's keep it simple and see what happens. It's kind of, sometimes it's really exciting, but sometimes it's really stressful.
Right.
What's it going to give me? Okay, so it's interesting that it hasn't given me any stars that have 12 points, but I am loving what it is giving me. So let's have a look at what I'm thinking something like this, but I just want to see what else is available first.
Pretty cool. It looks like it should have chocolate in it or something.
Yes. If anybody has any preferences for what star they like the best, shout out in the comments or in the chat. Oh, that's kind of more like what we were sort of going for, 12 pointed.
Yep. I was corrected as well in fresco. It's called live brush.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. You can get a watercolor effect. But yeah, it is called live brush. So thank you. Thank you for that.
I bet you I can guess who corrected you then. Someone that loves fresco.
Yes.
Okay, what do we think about this one? Does anyone like this one? It has a bit of like a sort of floral vibe.
Oh, yeah.
Do you like that, Flynn?
I like
it.
I get to choose. Okay. I like the star.
Flynn's choice. So this is what we're going to be using, but as you can see, there's a gray around it. I don't like that. I want to get rid of that. So I'm actually going to let me just finish with this. Goodbye. I'm going to use the background remove tool by selecting it and just hitting this cute little dog. And it's just going to cut it out for me.
I like that they made 2 buttons, and one's for like cat people and one's for dog people. Like it's
Yes. Which one are you? And one's for frog people.
And frog people, of course.
I have a phobia of frogs, so that's not for me.
Do you? I have frogs in my new little backyard here.
Okay, well, I won't be coming over to your house. So.
They don't ribbit. They go. They're really funny.
I don't know if funny is the word that I would use to describe them, but okay.
Right. Is it so you have frog phobia?
Yeah, I can't even look at a picture. Like that's a bit weird for me.
Really?
I'm just trying to like use it as exposure therapy gently while I do this live.
Right. It's amazing. Is there a history? Is there a reason why?
I used to live in Papua New Guinea where there was heaps of tropical frogs, and I think something happened there, but I can't remember what it was.
You've like pushed it deep down.
I think I have. So we'll never know. Maybe I should ask my parents. But
you should.
I don't know if I want to like unlock the trauma, you know.
I totally understand that. Yeah. Frog's not a common phobia, but
I know. It's weird. I think it's the unpredictability of them jumping that I don't like.
Oh, I see. A bit like a grasshopper. Like
yeah, and they're cute. Spring. Like admittedly, I know they're cute, but it's like a physical. I have no control. It's irrational.
Yeah, it's irrational. I totally understand that. Yeah, my wife was like that with birds, particularly pigeons and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I can see why pigeons are not the best bird of all the birds.
Yeah. Tell us about your phobia, chat. What's going on?
Yeah, like we're admitting all this deep stuff to you guys. We want to know what your phobias are. Tell us now. Okay, I'm just like doing a little bit of like star scattering.
Nice.
And I think I like that. What does everyone think? Are we into this? I am, but
cool. I like, again, I think we did this a little bit. Well, you did this a little bit and I watched last time where with the text, with the font, I really struggle to do this, but I always love when it's done, is actually just putting some of the elements of your design over the top of the typography and some over the back, just to give it some depth, because you can read it so easily, but I find it hard to do, but I always really like it. And I like how the bottom of that flower is just in front of that O.
Yes, and then this one's just behind.
And they're just behind. So it just gives you that depth feeling.
I think that comes easy to me because I'm like a collage artist and I do like this and layer things all the time. So it's just second nature, but I totally get that like it's not something you might think of immediately if you aren't from that sort of world.
I think it's like you get taught, it's almost like one of those design rules to break, but I've never kind of come around to I'm allowed to break this. To break this rule. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the front page of our piece and I love it.
Awesome.
So I want to create a little back page now because I would love to be able to have somewhere to write my love note to my crush. So up here on the right-hand side is, here is this add thing. Mm-hmm. So we're going to add a new page at we're going to duplicate because I actually want to keep the border of flowers the same.
Right.
For continuity. Mm-hmm. So but you can make things custom size, same size, but we're going to duplicate. So then it's taken us to page 2. If we want to get back to page 1, we'll just click that arrow.
Right there. Okay,
so I'm going to delete some stuff now after I did all that hard work. I'm going to I'm going to move some of these flowers down to the edge because we want some room to write this like incredibly romantic Shakespearean poem to our absolute love of our life. We don't want these things to get in the way. So let's remove some of them. Okay, but I want maybe like some writing paper or something, like some kind of image here that I can use so that there's some lines that I can draw on. So we're going to go back to our good friend text to image again. The real MVP of this project.
Yeah.
I've chosen portrait and the prompt that I'm going to use is weathered, white, lined, writing paper. Let's see what it gives us.
Yeah, I would never think to really use that like for text to image, like this sort of thing. I think I'm just going to have to manually make all these lines down and all that sort of stuff. But wow, it's done a pretty great job.
I think this is like basically the digital version of me going in my collage stash and finding elements that are good for this project.
Yeah.
I actually really like this second one here. But again, we don't like this background, so we're gonna go back and remove it, so it's just the paper.
Yeah.
I like how this is a bit dirty and looks like it maybe was burnt a little bit or something.
Yeah, it's like discolored over time.
Yeah, which is exactly the vibe we're going for here. So, all right, this is in front of everything, but down here on my layers panel, I'm just going to drag it all the way down to the bottom.
Nice.
And then adjust. Okay.
Wow. That was great.
Yeah, I really like this. So let's have a look at what we've created. We've got page 1, and then they can flip it over, and there's your beautiful love note will be ready. And I just love how rustic and kind of handmade this looks without actually having to hand make it, which is great.
That's
so
awesome.
when we want to download, we're going to hit download, obviously. And in the file format, we're just going to choose PDF. That's, I think, the best way to print it. I mean, you could print an image too if you wanted to, but we'll choose PDF and all pages so that it downloads it as just one single PDF that you can then just take it. You can print it yourself, double-sided, or you can take it to a printer, which is what I did. So just to give you one last look before I show you the actual printed out version, which I have prepared earlier.
Have a printed out version.
I do. Wow. I thought that would be fun.
They get me my printed out camera ready.
Here we go. So that's the front and that's the back. So tell me if
that's
you can
awesome.
see. Can you see me now?
I can see you. Mm-hmm.
Can everyone else see me?
Yep.
Okay. So this is the print.
Nice.
Obviously slightly different because the prompts yielded different results, but as you can see, it's still really cute.
How good's that?
And I'll show you up close. Like, look at the detail of how nicely it printed and how good the color match was. So we were talking about this earlier, and you don't have to set it as CMYK or RGB or anything like that. You just download as a PDF, and the results that come out are really true to color. And like the grain and everything, like all the detail that that I put in these flowers really comes through in the printing. I also chose like a thicker paper stock that's glossy to really make the colors pop. But I was really pleased with these printed results. So it just goes to show that you can design stuff for print on Adobe Express as well, not just digital, and it will actually be really great quality. So that's our little project. If you want to give this a go, you now have all the steps to jump into Adobe Express and start playing around with all the AI tools. And I'd love to hear if you try stuff out, like what your favorite one was or what you ended up gravitating towards the most. So make sure you send me a DM on Instagram or something like that and tell me and show me what you made if you give it a go.
And I'm still keen to see a breakup letter done in Adobe Express. It could be a world first. So I just want to see it if it does happen. I'm not encouraging you to break up with someone just for content, but if you're going to do it anyway.
If you might as well film it for content and send it to us.
Everything's content, right?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Kit. As always, what a blast hanging out with you on Adobe Live, and always get to learn so much from you as well.
Thanks so much for having me. That was a really fun one. Valentine's Day is my favorite tacky holiday of the year. So any excuse.
What's your second favorite? What should we have? What should we get you to come back as?
I like
back as Halloween. Were you going to? Did you say Halloween?
I'll come back as a ghost and haunt you on Halloween.
Well, let's look forward to that. October, Adobe kind of Max kind of time. Something spooky, Halloween-y.
Halloween.
Something spooky.
Yeah.
All right.
Amazing.
That sounds fun to me. Thank you so much, Kit. Thank you, everybody, for watching live and on demand. We'll be back next week with more Adobe Live. Thank you so much, Kit.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.